Stephen A., consider everything. Brett Favre says to 18, you're great. Does this cement Peyton as the best quarterback in history?
No, it does not. I wouldn't say that it does that. It certainly puts him in the conversation. There's no question about it. When you think about the greats like Joe Montana and a few others that are champions multiple times, there's always going to be a debate about that. But I think the greatness of Peyton Manning, the greatest thing that you could say about Peyton Manning, Skip Bayless, at this particular moment in time is that it's an insult to him to measure his greatness just by his accomplishments on the football field. This guy has been the face of the NFL, arguably, for the better part of the last decade and a half. Even when he was gone, he was constantly talked about. I remember you sat here on this very set and joked that Peyton Manning, the year that he was out, should be the MVP because of how bad the Colts were without him.
That's true.
When you consider all of those things, there is simply no question about his greatness as a player. But when you consider the fact that the guy is always in the news for the right reasons, that he epitomizes everything that coaches, executives, anyone associated with the NFL reveres and lauds. The reality is simply this. He is literally football royalty. He is a walking embodiment of that, not just because of his greatness, but the humility that he displays in handling that greatness. I've had the pleasure of meeting him on a couple of occasions from years ago. He's got an incredibly wonderful sense of humor. He's just a barrel of laughs as well. But the thing about him, again, is that first in the room, first to practice, last to leave, never takes days off. You not only hear people praising his accomplishments, you hear people constantly praising his work ethic, his commitment to excellence, and he is just the ultimate ambassador that I believe the NFL has ever had. And so because of that, I think that's when you talk about him, when you say, well, is he the greatest ever? He's in the conversation because of his accomplishments. But I don't know if there's ever been an individual quite as pristine and as close to perfect as he has been when we talk about what we want an NFL player to epitomize.
Okay, so back to Kerry's question. Does this cement that he's the greatest quarterback ever? You realize he broke Brett Favre's record in 56 fewer games. Think about that. 56 fewer games. That is a staggering statistic. That's even beyond the actual record itself. And what is blowing me away right now about Brett Favre is that at age 38, he's playing better than he ever has in his career.
Peyton Manning.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah, Peyton Manning. Yes.
Right.
How do you do that at age 38? How do you keep getting better? I'm seeing a man who is playing the quarterback position better than anyone has ever played it from game to game. I'm seeing a man who is operating at the highest level any quarterback has ever operated at from game to game. I'm seeing a man at 38 who has not peaked yet, who has not reached his ceiling. Is that possible? That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it gets better by the game. That was a tour de force last night. And I'll be the first to admit, I was not a genius about last night's game because I said it was with my heart. But I picked the 49ers. You know why? Because, well, I'm rooting for New England. I'm rooting for San Diego. So that's why. But in the end, I thought, there's some big pressure on this guy to break this record on national TV on a Sunday night game. I thought maybe he'll press a little bit. Was that not greatness?
Yeah.
Like from start to finish, you just knew he was going to break the record. This is against a pretty good 49er team. He picked it to pieces. It was still a little bit of a game in the third quarter, but then it just broke open like the floodgates from heaven broke open. And that last touchdown, the game breaker to Demaryius down the middle, it was as sweet a throw as he's made in his whole career. So now, is it even fair to bring up the fact today, it's almost like, did the Super Bowl really happen? Was that just a bad dream? Did that really happen? 43-8. Remember that game?
Well, what do you mean? Wait, do you mean because he played so awful? It just doesn't seem that.
No, it's like it's impossible what happened. You can't do that. 43-8. We both picked Denver to win the Super Bowl.
As did most.
How is that possible? 43-8. So that dropped Peyton's postseason playoff record to 11-12. 11 wins, 12 losses. Yeah. He's now played in 3 Super Bowls, and as you know, he won the first one, albeit against Rex Grossman's Chicago Bears. Then he lost to Drew Brees. Then he lost to the Seattle Seahawks. So it's not stellar in the postseason. But what I'm saying is his team looked stellar last night. It looked like a Super Bowl team to me last night, like better than it looked at any point in the season last year. So is it possible he ain't done yet in the postseason? Could he go win another, I don't know, dare I say, a couple of Super Bowls?
Let's let him get one first.
Okay, well, let's let him get one. Okay, but I'm saying I don't see an end to Peyton Manning. And again, you brought this up. The gold standard is Joe Montana went 4 for 4 in Super Bowls. He should have won all 4 MVPs. They gave it to Jerry Rice in the Boomer Esiason game. That was one with the last.
Get Terry Bradshaw too with those 4 Super Bowls.
All right, but still, Joe should have won all 4 MVPs. So it's Jordan-esque, who obviously went 6 for 6 with MVPs. But that's hard for Peyton to overcome if you're just going to do Super Bowls, or if you're just going to do postseason record 11-12, won't get it done. But no one has played the position better than he has played it. I'm sure there are those out there right now this morning who are saying, just on touchdown passes alone, that makes him the greatest quarterback ever. I'm sure we're going to hear that.